Yo, how's it going? Today's guest is doing big things in the real estate space, especially in the DFW. He's a family man, entrepreneur, co-host of the Doing DFW Deals meetup, the Dispo King, my guy Chris Crump. How's it going, bro?
Going really well, bro. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. For the people that's watching, give us a quick intro of who you are and what you do, man.
Yeah, so I'm here in North Dallas. Been here all my life. I'm from Mesquite. I've been in the real estate space for almost 5 years now. Um, read just like everybody, read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Changed my paradigm. Figured out that I wanted to be in real estate. That's where the wealth is created. So I jumped into wholesaling. Been doing it for almost 5 years now, and having a lot of fun with it. It's fun because I love sales. I did sales, corporate sales before this, and I never wanted to have a mundane job where every day was the same. I enjoy
Mm,
interacting with people, and in real estate, you get the funnest interactions and stories. So, yeah, having a lot of fun with it, meeting folks like you, getting connected, and helping each other build up some pretty wild legacies.
yep. It's a common theme, right, in the whole entrepreneur real estate space of not wanting that boring, like same old lifestyle, huh? Like you hear it all the time. Shoot,
And
I'm the
then
same way.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, a lot of people they enjoy that security or that schedule that doesn't change. But for me, I mean, it had been the my entire life. I was would go against the grain a little bit. Not like I was a troublemaker or anything crazy, but if you give me a little wiggle room, I'm going to explore that and see what's on the other side of the fence. So that's what we're doing now in real estate.
Yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster ride. It's a man. It's fun. It's fun though. Like it's not any there's not as much security as in the beginning, but it is definitely fun.
Yeah, in the beginning, in the middle, or in the end. But that's what we sign up
Right.
for.
It's always a roller coaster. There's always something.
Yeah,
There's always something, bro.
yeah. We
So
we've
take us to the beginning, like, huh?
I was gonna say we've experienced our own roller coasters doing a deal together. That one
Yeah,
was
no, man.
yeah.
That was
So
brutal, but it is what it is.
we yeah.
Luckily, I like. I'm sorry. Go ahead. We keep cutting each other.
No, you did. I said we learned from it. I mean, that was an important thing in real estate. You truly don't really take losses. You figure out what you could have corrected, what you missed, and on the next one that you and I have like that, we'll know to check for a few extra stuff.
So there was so many lessons being learned on that deal that fell through. But luckily for me, it wasn't my first loss.
Hmm.
Like I've had already some L's in this real estate. So it was pretty easy to move on from. I mean, no big deal. Like you said, you get that tough skin in this industry, especially, and you don't know until you've been through it,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah, you're
Like the
exactly.
like like you start thinking of like the damn what could have been.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Yep.
I learned early on. Don't and my wife Courtney, she reminds me of it all the time because I'll tell her how much we're projected to make. She doesn't want to hear that. She wants to know
Oh.
once the check clears. Yeah, and so learned early on. Don't count your eggs before they hatch. And to your point, something Don Rich told me a long time ago. He's like, bro, everybody in real estate always feels like their house is on fire. They're almost every problem is fixable, almost always. And
Mm.
you'll interact with newer wholesalers. They'll blow up your phone. Haven't talked to the seller in 2 days. Well, maybe maybe the seller has something going on. You're not the only one giving them a call. Stay patient, keep calling, and you'll figure it out. But yeah, there's problems and headaches and peaks and valleys all the time, and that's what makes it so fun.
100%. A lot of people can't, you know, that's when the security kicks in. They're like, nope, I'd rather be secure.
Yeah.
They can't do the roller. They can't ride on roller coasters like that.
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So take us to the beginning. I know you said you were in acquisitions first, and then now you're in Dispo. Well,
Yeah,
before we go into that, like for the people that doesn't know what the difference between acquisition and what dispo is, can you kind of explain that?
Yeah, so I did. I've done every part of the business from A to Z. Everybody always gravitates toward acquisitions. I mean, it's what's lauded up, and all the sales trainings are about acquisitions. Everybody talks about acquisitions. So acquisitions is getting the deal under contract, negotiating the sales. All wholesaling is sales and marketing. Acquisitions is sales, dispositions is marketing. So acquisitions, you're calling a seller, you're asking them, hey, I know you have a house here. Are you interested in an offer? If they say yes, they raise their hand and say yes, that's a lead. If they say no, you're either following up with them or putting them in the do not call bucket. But that's what acquisitions is. There's a lot of relationship skills that take place there. A lot of consistency and follow up that is needed. A lot of people like to preach on the one call close, which is fantastic. I mean, one call closes feel amazing, and some people build really good businesses off of that model. But for the majority of us, people need to stay patient, stay in the game, really dig deep into figuring out why someone would ever want to sell real estate. That's one of the best asset classes in America, and if they're selling, then there's probably some pain and motivation and distress there. And for the most part, a lot of people just go for the price, and there's a lot to figure out outside of price and timeline. So yeah, acquisitions is the art of negotiating with the seller and figuring out why they want to sell, when they want to sell, and how you can solve that problem. Dispo is after that deal is under contract. You're getting on the top of the mountain screaming, hey, I've got a deal, this is what it is, who's looking for this deal, and then you're trying to make as much money as you can while still being fair to the buyer, giving them a profitable situation. Because for someone in Dispo, you want a buyer to make money, so they come back and stay in business, and then come back and buy from you.
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of points you touched on that, and that shoot, I couldn't explain it better than that, bro. Like that's one thing you're really good at doing is that when we were working on that deal, the way you broke down to our seller, I couldn't have done it, and so I'm glad I got you. Even if the deal didn't work out, seller backed out for whatever reason, it was cool seeing you maneuver and how you work things. I learned a lot from that.
Yeah, I
But
appreciate that.
yeah, man. But besides that, so like just to clarify, acquisitions is getting the deal, dispo is basically disposing of it,
Yeah,
and
so there's yeah,
disposing like
exactly right. Yeah, there's two
go
parts
ahead.
to it. The A to B, from seller to the contractor, and then there's B to C, selling that contract you have to the C party, which is a flipper, an investor, homestead buyer, wrap buyer, whoever it is, whoever's going to make an investment off of that. But yeah,
Right,
you're playing as a wholesaler, you're playing the middleman, you're going and getting the product, and then you're selling the product.
correct. So tell me why dispo over acquisitions for you.
Uh I mean, a lot of good, a lot of things led me there. But I love acquisitions. I have a lot of fun in acquisitions. I'm, the chasing of a deal is really fun. The connecting with the seller, earning their trust, uh, sitting on, uncomfortable questions. A lot of people in acquisitions, they'll either skip the motivation or they'll take it at surface level and leave it there. I'm totally okay with digging deep and figuring out, what's really going on, and asking a question, and sitting there uncomfortably in silence, and figuring that out. So I did have a lot of fun in acquisitions, but I was I was mentored and trained by a guy here locally, who's done it for 14 years, built a really large business, left that business, exited, and then did it kind of as a one man band, just as a dispo guy. He had a really
Wow.
great buyers list. He knew, how to evaluate a deal in 5 seconds. Look at it, take a stab at it, and then go and sell it. So I was trained personally by him for a long time. Super generous guy, open and authentic. And after I looked at my numbers, a lot of people knew that I could help them sell their deals. And for a couple of years, I was doing both acquisitions and also some JV and helping people sell some deals. But after I looked at my numbers in 2022, I had done 19 deals that year. 11 of them were JV deals. 8 of them were direct to seller. I
Mm,
made more money on the JV side, and the turnaround is a lot quicker, right? Because I'm not following up with a seller for a couple months. I'm not sitting on the phone with them for hours. I'm not pulling that list, skip tracing that list, cold calling, waiting for somebody to pick up. I'm getting that deal after it's already under contract, after someone had already worked really hard to make that deal. They're now giving it to me with the trust that I can go and get it sold, hopefully pretty efficiently, quickly, and for maximum profit. So after I had kind of looked at both sides of the coin, realized I didn't want to do some of the stuff that was involved in acquisitions in terms of pulling lists, skip tracing a list, staying on schedule with keeping those lists fresh and recycling them. I didn't want to do all of the what I see as kind of admin and remedial stuff that's pretty boring for me. I want to be on the phone,
mm,
either closing a seller or selling a deal. So for me on Dispo, I had been trained really well by someone who I consider, um, you know, an excellent person in the industry. I had the resources, I had great buyers, and I was really good at negotiating. I'm very transparent. I'm very fact driven on the dispo side. I don't try to, paint a pretty picture for you. If it's not, I'll tell you exactly what the product is. And if you think you can, buy it and make great money from it, then terrific. I'll sell it to you. If not, I'm not going to chase you either. I've got a ton of buyers I can put this product in front of. Um, so the dispo side for me, a lot of my skill set fit there, and it was a quicker turnaround, quicker cash conversion, and way less overhead. I mean, the softwares that I had to use
right.
in the beginning, I was running a really small overhead. It's grown now because I'm moving more properties and I need more resources and software. So my overhead isn't as low as it used to be, but it's still um, not what an acquisition company would require.
100%. So that was my next question. What is the like CRMs, and what are all the softwares that you use, and how does that look like behind the scenes?
Yeah, so in the beginning, you don't need much. I mean, I was running off of an Excel for a Dispo board, just keeping all my deals lined up there and the next steps and if they were assigned or what week we're on and on selling those. And then I had an email blaster, Constant Contact,
Mm,
which was a couple $100 a month. So in the beginning, my marketing cost was zero because Dispo is just, getting your name out there and connecting with folks. And my overhead was a couple $100 just running an email blaster. Now I have investor lift, cartel mode. I have
oh wow.
VAs that I'm going to be paying here coming up this month. I still run Constant Contact. With those VAs, I have to skip trace some list and get a dialer for them. So we're gonna be up a couple thousand now on the overhead, but they should be able to take a lot off of my plate and be more than worth it.
And it paused for a quick second. You said, what are you doing with the VAs?
So my VAs, these are Dispo VAs, and I'm just now bringing them on, and we can talk about why I chose to go with VAs because I used to have
Yeah, let's
American.
do it.
But my VAs, these guys are going to be highly qualified. I'm paying them $14 an hour, and they're going to, yeah, which is pretty expensive, but these guys are going to be awesome. They're pulling list, they're calling buyers. So if I get a deal in Jacksonville, Florida, a list is going to be pulled. They're going to call the most recent buyers in that area. Hey, are you still buying? What are you looking for? Excellent. Hey, we've got a deal that fits your buy
Mm,
box right now. If not, what are they looking for? Add them to the buyers list. So they're going to build their own buyers list for me. And then at the same time, again, Dispo is just marketing. So they're going to
right.
stay, um, on top of buyers' minds, following up with them every day, even if they haven't heard from them in 3 days. Until you give us an answer, just like in acquisitions with the seller, until you give us an answer, you
Yeah,
don't want this, or you want to counter and give us another offer. Those VAs' jobs is to stay on top of each buyer until we get an answer. So that's what they're going to be doing.
amazing. Is that kind of how Keegley runs their operations? I know they're realtor based, right?
I don't know a ton about how Keegley runs their operations. However, I've spoken to a few high level dispo people. And from what I hear, a lot of them try to model their business kind of how New Western does it. And so New
Mm,
Western has a really good model in terms of how they grab buyers, how they keep them, and how they sell their products. So I don't really know how Keegley runs their operation, but I know a few of the top dispo people. They kind of try to mirror what New Western does.
nice. That's dope, man. So what's the annual goal for your dispo business?
So we did last year in 2023, and I only made that pivot to go full dispo in April. In the beginning of 2023,
In in 2023, April 2023?
correct, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay, so this is fairly new. I thought you were doing it for a year or so
I've been
already.
doing I've been doing dispo as like kind of the part of my hustle,
Right.
but I went full dispo in April. So
Okay, cool.
at the end of 2022, I was doing acquisitions. I had a partner. He was doing all the stuff I didn't want to do. We made an amicable split
Mm,
at the end of 2022. I said I'm going to do all that stuff I don't want to do. I'm going to pull this. I'm going to cold call. I'm not going to have any VAs. I'm gonna just do it all. By myself. Did that for 4 months. Had
right.
awful luck. I could barely even get on the phone with the seller. I don't know what was wrong with my systems. I couldn't figure it out. So for four
Wow.
months in the beginning of 2023, we were treading water. We were walking through mud.
Mm,
And so after 4 months, I was like, I'm not making acquisitions happen by myself. I don't want to bring on a partner and run a full scale acquisition business. So in April is when I made the choice. Luckily, I had really good people in my corner, a couple of accountability partners. They were all looking at my numbers as well, and they were giving me the confidence I needed to make that shift and to pivot. And that's when I decided to go full scale dispo, make that my brand. And instead of
wow.
being direct to seller, I now say I'm direct to wholesaler, right? It's almost
Right.
the same thing. I'm still calling, I'm still getting on the phone, connecting with folks, figuring out what's going on in their life, what the obstacles they have, and how I might be able to plug in and help. But instead of calling sellers, I'm now calling wholesalers. And a lot of people need the help in the industry. We run our events and we say, everybody's had a hand that's helped them through it. And sometimes when I call these wholesalers, they're shocked to get a call from somebody in the industry that's willing to help. A lot of people
Yeah.
do it, in the dark space where they don't feel like they have anybody to lean on. And when
Wow.
when someone calls them to help, it's kind of a shock to them, which is fun to see, but also makes me a little sad that they didn't have that before.
Yeah. Man, and that's one thing I was gonna touch on too later. I was gonna, bring up the fact that seeing you guys run the DFW meetup, um, like there's always a point at the end of it of just like, meeting your neighbor and just having that you could tell the spirit of go giving is in the
Yeah,
room for
yeah,
one, and just networking in general, but like true networking, not just selfish networking of like really like seeing how you like as an individual going in there can provide for someone else and how they can provide for you, like true, go giving. And so
yeah.
that's something that's dope seeing you guys curate, you, Zach, and Jabs, and it's obviously working well for you, so props to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we started that meetup with that exactly in mind. I mean, we're all a part of the same mentorship stuff too. Pace Morby has truly changed the real estate space. Him and his guys, Brent and Jamil and everybody, about squatting up,
Right.
helping, being a go giver, and we just tried to embody that here in our local community. We didn't see at the time, we didn't see many events happening, at least that I was hearing about, or Jabs or Zach. And so we started that event knowing that there's a lot of newer wholesalers that need to get connected. And at the time, we had been doing it for 3 years, had moderate success, knew how to get paid on some deals. And so we wanted to just
Yeah.
bring everybody together, open up the community, allow them to meet each other and squat up. And our event is more mastermind style. It's less so networking, shaking hands, and figuring out what you can get out of it, but more so one of us three or somebody in the industry here in our community come pull back the curtain, show people how you're finding success in your business. Everybody does everything different, which that's the good and the bad thing about real estate. There's 1,000 different ways to get paid, right? So we'll just bring somebody in, allow them to show what they're doing in their business at a high level, and hopefully people in the audience can take some actionable items away, figure out if it's right for them, take it home, and plug it into their business on what might fit.
Yep. Every time I go over there, I learn something new, and even if it's just one thing that I learn new, like it's leaving the meetup is like yes, like it's a success just learning that one thing.
Yeah,
But there's been times where I'm like, oh, 3 or 4 things that I've learned. I'm so glad I pulled up.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
we
tell me. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we appreciate individuals like you coming. We say it every time. It's a community driven event. It's not my event. It's not Zach's or Jab's event. It's, if nobody showed
Yeah.
up, we don't have an event.
Yeah.
And when we have people like you and other people who have had success in the room, it elevates the room, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. So we want all the superstars at our event, and we want all the newer wholesalers and buyers and investors at our event. And I truly
Yeah.
think Dallas Fort Worth is one of the greatest metros to be in for real estate. There's a lot of people who are go givers and open book, willing to help. Will even invite you on their team. And so yeah, I feel really blessed and lucky that you and I get to be here in DFW and around this community.
Yep. DFW is the best market, bro.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and for anybody that doesn't know, where can we go, or is it, what's the details on it?
Yeah, so it's called Doing
On the
DFW Deals. You can find us on Facebook, but it's every first Saturday of the month. We rotate around the metro, so we're in North Dallas or Fort Worth every first Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Um, we get about 60 to 70 people there every month. And again, it's we want you to come and be ready to absorb some information, but also take part in the community. If you're a quiet individual, perfectly fine. But
Yep.
but we hope that you can come and you can contribute and be ready to give as much as you take. Totally fine to take from our event. That's what it's intended for. But we know everybody
Hmm.
there has something to add and some value to give. And so, yeah, every first Saturday of the month from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And you can join our Facebook group, Doing DFW Deals, to stay in touch.
100%. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, and for anybody listening that is kind of scared of being going into a group. I was there too, like going into a meetup and meeting people, making small talk. It's the worst when you first start. It sucks. It's hard to do. But it's funny that you say that, because I remember one time, one of the meetups I went to, literally one guy was standing next to me and he was brand new, super quiet.
Yeah,
And then so we had a small conversation. I turned to my right, and then dude is doing 30 flips this month. I was like,
yeah,
oh, like both ends of the spectrum. It's like
yeah,
one guy that hasn't even started, I'm in the middle, and then this guy over here doing 30 flips in one, like at the same time. I'm like, oh, okay. So it goes to say that this meetup is for everybody, and that you really can add value to it, regardless of your situation, or whatever. It's it's
yep,
it's for everybody, basically.
yep. And kudos to you for, some people, whether it's because of the success they've had or they just don't want to meet a new person, some people won't talk to that quiet person. It's on you. It's on
Yeah.
us to talk to the quiet person. Once you crack that
Yep.
first conversation, I'm sure that person was way more receptive to talking at that event.
Oh
And
yeah.
meeting an individual like you who got them warmed up. I mean, that goes a long way. They probably came to another event, learned more, and now on a track to have some success. But maybe had you not talked to them, they would have gone home, said, I didn't have fun, I didn't make any connections, and I'm never coming back. So it's those small ripple effects that you can cause at these events that could literally change someone's life, and it's cool to see
That's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So kudos,
Right.
kudos to you, and I'd encourage more people to yeah, go and talk to anybody you see there, even if they're a newbie.
Yes, sir. So tell me how the whole thing came. Like, whose idea was it? Was it yours? Was it y'all's collectively? How did it come together? The
Yeah,
whole meetup thing.
I think it was a collective thing. So it first happened when there was a sub two meetup in like Grapevine at Tracy Trang's house. And it was like the first one, at least that I had heard of, that had happened in a while. And we were all
Is
there.
that the one where Jab said, I'm the black pace?
Jeff says that like every week now. So
Oh yeah.
probably, probably. But yeah, this was like 3 years ago. And it was the first time that a lot of those people had gotten face to face. That was the first time I met Jabs face to face.
Mm.
And we had communicated back and forth for a while, but we had never had a common meetup to go to. So we went to that one. There was a lot of great value. Noah, I think his name is Noah Gray. I forgot about him. Forgot his last name. But Noah, the Airbnb guy, was there. He gave a lot of great value. Chai was there. Um,
Hoffman.
yeah, Noah Hoffman. Yeah. And it was, we saw what could happen if this was a consistent thing. And so that's kind of where we started talking, like, how can we find a location where we can do this monthly and bring people in. Selfishly for me, I don't love going to networking events. Similar to what you said earlier, it's just handshaking, passing around business cards. People trying to figure out what they can extract from you and not give anything back. So for me, I wanted to create our own event where everybody could come to me, but we could set it up on a different style where everybody was kind of eating off the same plate rather than trying to take. And that's Zach and Jabs were on the same vision, and that's where we kind of put it together and knew that if we made this consistent and stuck to it, then it would have a lasting impact.
Yeah, yeah. It's a cool concept of how y'all do the meetup. Because I don't know if you've always structured it this way, because I haven't went to every one of them, but the ones I've been to, you split up into three
Mm-hmm.
groups, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's three different speakers, and then you like you said, you open up their business, and kind of give you uh, a front row seat of what your operations look like. And it's
Yep.
not always just Chris, Jabs, and Zach. It's you guys bring on guest speakers who are rock stars in the industry, and it opens up you know uh, people's minds pretty much, and kind of lets them know, and they go ahead and drop some gems, and it's dope. I always view it as like, um and this is just me personally, I always view it as like every like the Justice League or the Avengers, and
I
like
like
everybody has their superpower,
yeah.
and like, because like Zach, for instance, he's like, his niche is like, he does the W-2 still, and
Yep.
he's having W-2, and he's like, no, keep your job. And then you got Jabs on the creative side of things, teaching you all about how to underwrite creative deals and all this and that. And then you got yourself in the Dispo side of things. So everybody has their own superpower, and it just goes to, like, I don't know, it's a dope concept, and whoever thought of it, whether it was collectively, and I know you're too humble to say it was your idea, but if if it was your idea, whoever's idea it was, it's a good concept, and it's a pretty dope meetup, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and yeah, we enjoy and we knew, hey, we're kind of all in different seats. We can give different angles and advice and knowledge from what we do, and you're exactly right, and that's why we bring other people because, like I said, there's a ton of different ways to do this. We're all about collaboration over competition. So we've even brought in other
Yes.
dispo companies to speak to how they dispo. We brought in other people, obviously if only it was us three speaking in the front, then we could grab all the attention every time. But that's not the way that we intend for it to be, nor do we say we're experts or the only people that know how to do it. So um, yeah, I
Hey,
appreciate it, and your feedback is exactly kind of the vision that we had casted.
that's dope. That's crazy. Would
Yeah.
you? And this is kind of off topic question. Would you say you're more of a visionary or integrator?
Oh, I'm a visionary all the way. Yeah, I don't
Really?
like to do the integrator stuff. I mean, at some point, being a company owner and operator, you got to do the integrator stuff until
Right.
you bring somebody in if that's what you want to do.
Hmm.
So for now, I probably do both because there's nobody else in my company
Mm.
other than VAs. But for the most part, yeah, I'm all visionary. I'll cast the big picture. I'll go out and I'll sell. I'll do all that fun stuff. But when it comes to the integrator stuff and the admin and the mundane, I don't love, but it has to get done.
Right. What do you think like the key? What do you think the key ingredient is like for your success in your business in Dispo?
Um, I mean consistency, but for a long time, just like most newbie people, I was just focused on my operation. I wasn't necessarily getting connected with other folks. Um, I wouldn't necessarily look at people as competition back in the day, but I'd be like, if they're doing that, then there's got to be a way I can do that. Rather than like just being happy or whatever for them, it's like, okay, I see that they're doing that. How can I also do that? About 2 years ago, it just finally clicked in my head that like this is a lot more fun and easier plugging into the community and helping other everybody. So that was kind of where I really started to skyrocket when I just plugged into the community. I started getting on the
Mm.
phone with other folks, hearing about their business. Oh, you're having that struggle. I just went through that a couple months ago. This is what I did, or vice versa. Them telling me something that gives me a new idea or a new pivot where I can go in and do that. But really, that's what made the change for me. And it wasn't like
Mm.
coming a bad spot where I was like against community or against collaboration. I had just come from corporate sales where, I was in a cubicle doing my own meetings, looking at the sales board, hoping I was, on the top three or whatever it was. But
Wow.
it was just a different mindset. So once I had kind of made that pivot and that paradigm shift in my head where it's community over everything. Even if I get on the phone with Anthony, Anthony's doing foreclosures. I've got nothing to do with foreclosures, but if I can just help him make a small change or help him, go out and close a couple more deals, that's going to return in my favor. Whether Anthony brings me a deal later or he tells somebody about me or he just goes out and becomes uber successful and then he calls me and says, hey, do you want to come on this cruise with me? If I just put out good energy, help people, it's come back to me tenfold. And
Mm.
it's a lot of fun. It's emotional currency to help somebody, and that's really what I've started plugging into for several years now. But um, it's just getting connected with folks, helping people. Uh, I did acquisitions for a long time. I really loved it. So a lot of the time when I'm direct to wholesaler and calling wholesalers, I'm helping them on their acquisition struggles. They're newer people. They need to overcome obstacles that they haven't yet. They're things that I've done, and I'm just telling them from my experience, how to maybe overcome it. They get through it. They go and close the deal, and then eventually things will return to me. But um, that's been for sure what has propelled my success is just helping other people, getting connected with other folks, and plugging into the community.
Yeah, it's crazy how it works, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And
It's
again,
insane.
a ton of emotional currency.
Yeah.
I mean, I get energized when on the Dispo side, I've helped a ton of people close their first deal, get that proof of concept, bring that first paycheck home to their family. And a lot of us burn the ships, right? We quit our jobs. We say we don't
Yeah.
have a plan B. We struggle some of us struggle for half a year without a paycheck on that
Yeah.
first deal. And so when you finally cash that first check for thousands of dollars, covering a couple months of rent, hopefully, then even
You're definitely embedded in their core memories forever if you especially help them with their first deal.
yeah,
That's
but even
crazy.
which is crazy, but even outside of that, even if they never talk to me again, that emotional currency that'll
Yeah,
keep me afloat for a while. Just to know that I was
for
able
sure.
to help someone change their lives, prove to their spouse and their family and whoever else that what they're doing, what they've been working on, there's a check at the end of it. And now they
Yeah,
got a little more money to put into marketing and hopefully ramp some things up.
man, that's dope, and it shows too. I mean, you're not lying about it. I remember on it was at the meetup actually. I had a question for you specifically. I don't remember what it was, but I know you had the capability to answer it. I know you were, I know you knew what the answer was, but instead of you answering it, you went and handed it off to somebody else that knew that they could answer it and connected us.
Yeah,
And
cool.
it just shows how unselfish you are and that you're really about the go giving spirit. So
Yeah,
man, I'm definitely an advocate of go giving and also working together and community and it just elevated once I joined the sub two, and like everybody's the same way, like minded and stuff. If we all can win together.
yep, yeah, no doubt. And yeah, I see that all the time. People that plug in, people that are willing to give without expecting anything in return. Uh, you know, now there's a whole new category. Maybe it's not new, but it's new to me, of connectors, an avatar called connectors, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
people who can connect.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made money with connectors. I mean, they do a
Wow.
great job, and they fill in the gap. And
Right.
you know, that's a great way for people to be of value. Maybe they don't want to do acquisitions or any of the other parts, but they're really good at getting to know people, understanding their business, the gaps in their business, and filling it with, whether it's themselves or knowing somebody. Um, that's another really great way to be a community driven and go giver.
Yeah. There's literally an abundance of ways to get, like, isn't it crazy? I'm pretty sure you hear the question, how do I get started? How do I, like, y- I don't know. There's so many ways you can get started in real estate. It's just an abundance of it. And that's why it's exciting having the podcast, because like I know for a fact I'm never going to be able to run out of content ideas. Like even if a certain subject is recycled a couple times, there's plenty of like ideas to come around and talk about, like niches and ways to get in, like the services, their TCs,
Yeah,
connectors, all that. Like there's too much to be talked about, and it's exciting, seeing what the landscape could be, or the future of this, podcast,
yeah.
and all the people that I could potentially interview. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And to that point of a newbie asking, how do they get started? Yeah, that's an impossible question to answer because
Impossible.
it's for that individual.
Yeah.
What they like to do, what they don't like to do, what they'll definitely not do. Um, some people, are really good at speaking and need to be on the phone with the seller. Some people, maybe they get a little frazzled when they get asked a question they don't know the answer to, so they need to be in a more analytical position, like a TC or something, where they get a second to collect their thoughts, look through the research,
Mm-hmm.
and what how to fix that problem. But yeah, there's some people need to be a bird dog, and they just got a really good eye for finding distress and going and finding a product. Some people have money; they don't need to do much, but give their money and let it grow. Um, so
Yep.
yeah, a lot of people, they come in, again, to my point in the beginning. They come in, and all they see is acquisitions. That's all that's talked about. So they go in there,
Mm-hmm.
they get on the phone, they get burnt out, they get cussed out. They're a little thin skinned, and they can't hang around, and unfortunately they probably leave the industry, when it was
Yep.
just they just weren't in the right seat. So yeah, that's what it's fascinating to see people's journeys and how they got there, and why somebody might have gotten burnt out and left.
Yep. Incredible, man. It yeah, you can't answer for those. So for those of you watching, anybody watching, and say in your mind you're new, you're like, how do I get started? We can't answer that for you. You have to just do the research and see where you fit in and know yourself, right? The riches, it's cliche, but the riches are in the niches, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can certainly ask us, hey, this is, but you got to come with something. Hey, this is what I think I like to do. These are my strengths. These are my weaknesses. I'll be able to better point you in a direction after that. But or like Anthony is saying, just get in the mud. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
Go call. Go do
Yeah.
some marketing. Go do some bandit signs. Figure out what part of it you like. I mean, again, I've done every part from A to Z. Figured out I didn't want to be pulling lists or skip tracing or staying on top of the data. Um, I don't want to necessarily be cold calling and sitting on a phone for 7 hours and waiting for someone to pick up every 30 minutes. So there's things that
Mm-hmm.
you can handle, some things that you don't want to be a part of, and you
Yep.
don't figure that out if you don't try.
Yeah, and some people love getting cussed at. Some people, you know,
I
some
like it.
people like being.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
totally okay
just
with having some attitude, but I'm gonna ask you a question after that. I'm not gonna hang up.
yeah,
Let me let me know what you got
yeah.
to say, and we'll see if we can get to the motivation after that.
Let's do it. Yep. Yeah. So, and to to your point exactly, it's like if if you want to reach out to someone like Chris, Chris is a busy man. He's got a whole operation running. So if you're gonna come with a problem, it's better to come with a problem that you've already like you said, put yourself in the mud, and then he can you guys can solve it together, and then potentially make some money together.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I'm totally open to people reaching out, even if you don't necessarily have a problem. Our conversation will be way more value driven if you do, but
Yeah.
um, it's part of the way that I was brought in. Is again, I had to really, as soon as I got my first deal, I stumbled into my first mentor, and even before
Hmm.
that, I had a friend who was already in wholesaling that was helping me answer those questions when I finally had a motivated seller. So I'm an open
Yeah.
book, super easy to get a hold of. I will try my best not to ignore your conversations. I do get hit up a lot, but I try to get back to everybody, and it's because it's it's how I was brought in, and it's how I want to continue to give for sure.
Yeah, man. Tell us. Let's pivot a little bit. Tell us about how being a girl dad is. 'Cause I'm me. I'm a boy dad. I got two little boys. They're crazy as heck. They keep me super busy. How is being a girl dad, and how has the dynamic between being a father and running your own operation?
Yeah, I mean, a girl dad is it's fantastic. I love it. I've always wanted kids growing up. Always, of course, you know, thinking my first is going to be a boy for sure, no doubt. And
Yeah,
now we're two girls in, and
that's
it's awesome. Yeah, it's really is. Now I'm now super happy that I had girls first. I mean, I see guys like you running around with a couple of Johnny Knoxvilles, and it looks fun. I can't believe my mom did that with me and my older brother. But uh, yeah, so for girls, it's a lot of tears. It's a lot of love yous and kisses. And my oldest is she just got some makeup for Christmas, and now she's putting on dark eyeshadow, looking like a
yeah,
princess every night. So it's a lot of fun. We and our
yeah.
youngest, my oldest is 3.5. She's on a lot of these Zooms with me. She's around the business, and then my youngest is 3 months old now, and our oldest has taken on the older sister role like an angel. She's so good with her.
Helping her feed the baby,
Yeah, she
giving
she
her
does.
bottles.
Yeah, so she's it's been a dream for us. Obviously, it's really hard being a parent, especially with two.
Oh
But
yeah. Oh,
it's
I always tell people this. I'm like, one, having one kid is one thing. Having two kids is not two times harder. Having two kids is like 10 times harder for sure. 100%.
and
It's a huge difference.
what's the age difference between yours?
Oh, I had it bad, man. They are a year and a half. So,
Yeah,
like, by the time my second was, 6 months, my boy was going into his terrible twos, and he literally, right when he turned two, he was terrible.
yeah, yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
Ours were
So,
3 years apart. Me and my older brother were 18 months apart. And my sister, she has three under five, I think. Three boys.
mhm.
And so yeah, she's got her hands full. You'll FaceTime her, and she's looks like she's in the middle of a John Cena versus The Rock or something, and she's standing there in the middle of the ring. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man. But
we did this. Me and my wife Courtney, we when we first started considering me leaving, her quitting her job, starting in real estate. that was the goal, right? To be able to have the freedom. There's four kind of freedoms that you look at. You look at financial freedom. You know, you want to be able to not worry about a bill. After financial freedom, hopefully comes freedom of time. You know, I can
Mm,
take off. I can go and go to a day at the park and not really worry about it. And then you hopefully you have freedom of location. We can take a 2 week trip to New York. I can work off my laptop, whatever it is. After you get those
yeah.
three, then you get hopefully you get freedom of purpose. Now I can do whatever I want. If I wanted to go and do ministry in Africa, then I can do that because I have freedom of time, freedom of finance, and freedom of location. But that's what
Yeah.
our goal was. We wanted to have that freedom. We wanted to be able to raise our kids the way that we intend to, and not be chained down to a 9 to 5 where you know our kids have to be in public school, which is a glorified babysitter. We've got to try to find
Right.
someone to pick them up and take care of them after school. Um, that wasn't at all what we have in mind, and so we took the jump. Luckily, so far we've landed, and yeah, I work from home, which is how I want to do it. My girls are around me all day long. I can take a break and go help, when I can. And Carmen, my oldest, she's on, in here half the time, and she'll say,
Mm.
when I'm looking at a house, are you going to sell that house? That house is ugly, or whatever comes to her 3-year-old mind. But she knows exactly what I do, uh, and she, hopefully she'll grow into it and do something of her own.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you said at the beginning, you said I started off with girls. So does that mean you guys shooting for more? You're gonna
Yeah,
have some more?
yeah, we want a big family. We're going for 5 kids.
Really? Oh
Hopefully,
wow. Okay.
Lord willing, we get there. But yeah, we
Yeah.
want a big family. Courtney, she only has one brother, so it wasn't a big family for her. But she has a big outside family. I had five or four siblings, so five total. So
Mm.
it's what I know. My grandma, she had 10 kids, so every
Oh wow.
Christmas we were around 30 cousins, lots of uncles and aunts, and that's hopefully
Yeah.
what we can have. And now, I mean, like I said, my sister has three boys, my brother has a boy, and so Christmas is, they're all close in age and they get to run around, and that's what I mean. Family is all I need, really. I don't go out, I don't drink,
Yeah.
I don't a whole lot of stuff. I'm a homebody. I'll kick it here with my family, and if I keep having kids, that's more people to hang out with.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible, bro. That's awesome, bro.
What
Yeah,
about
I
you, bro?
mean me and your
Yeah. What I told you previously is one. I love the content you put out. You're super organic. You're yourself. I love
mm,
how involved your boys are, and even aside from you, your boys are hilarious. You had
yeah.
you had
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, bro. You posted in the car. I think it was your youngest. He had pizza in the car, and you're like, I don't know how old that is, how long it's been there. An hour later, you post him in the car seat, and he picked it up and he was eating it. And yeah, I grow close to people who are like minded, who are
Yeah.
family driven. They pour into their kids. They love them because some people they have kids and it doesn't necessarily look like that's what they wanted. And I can tell between you and your wife that you guys love your boys. You keep them involved. You're around them a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you in the business, yeah, I mean, they were building the treehouse at one of your projects yesterday. So yeah, I
Oh
watch
yeah.
your content, bro. I love what you put out, and yeah. What about you? How is it being on Jackass all day long?
No, I mean, like you said it, man. Literally the minute I became a parent, I knew that it was a huge responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And before I was a parent, I was not responsible,
Mm-hmm.
doing irresponsible things. And shoot, by the grace of God, I changed, and I, I knew there was a responsibility, and I knew I didn't want them to be, because I grew up in the hood, and I seen how influences. I'm like, I just noticed things. I seen how you can be influenced by music. You can be influenced by your surroundings in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to, when the minute I became a parent, I knew my new job. is to show these guys how to, live the right way. And by me being involved, me being a father figure, that's, like I'm their superhero. And
Yeah.
so it was scary. But it's you grow into it, and you just learn. And keeping them involved, like they've been on this journey with me. They've been on the struggle with me, and it's, I'm teaching them like everything I know pretty much. And I take my job as a dad super super serious. And like you said, like when people have kids, it seems like it doesn't change, bro. Literally, they changed my life. They changed my trajectory. Like without kids, and it doesn't happen to everybody, but without kids, I probably would be doing the same dumb stuff. And then, going out drinking, all this and that. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I used to be a hardcore cigarette smoker, bro.
Yeah.
And I stopped that because when my kid was like 2 or 3, he was like, "Daddy, what are those?" And then I seen him one time, and he was on the porch. He got one of my old cigarette butts, and he he put it in his mouth. And I was like, "Bro, this is bad." And so I had to quit. I had to quit all this. But yeah, I mean, I take my job super serious as a dad. It's the number one. It's the number one thing that I'm focused on, and business is second to it. And it's tough balancing them, because you sometimes you got to stay away from the family to,
Yeah.
or like, like busy days. And you just kind of not brush them off, but you're like, wait, dad, daddy got to do something, da da da. But it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun, to say the least.
I love it. Where did you grow up?
And Oak Cliff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Oak Cliff. Yeah. So I mean, I've in the hood, but like I had cool parents, so they they did what they could. And we, like, if you see the house, you would wanna the house that I grew up in, you would wanna wholesale it. You would know that there's some value add to it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
sure. Especially now, yeah, everybody's tearing down and trying to rebuild that neighborhood. So okay, very cool, bro. Yeah, like I said, I gravitate toward you because of the way that you present yourself. And it's not just present. I mean, I know you personally, and you're an excellent dad. You do the business well. You represent yourself well. So yeah, anytime I get acquainted with someone of your ilk, then I know I want to keep them close, because real estate is not easy, especially if you're doing it alone. And if you can get people who are real, authentic, willing to help, be a go giver, and having success, then there's not a ton of those people. So you
Right.
you grab them and you hold them close for sure.
100%. Yeah, man. I can't wait to see what how our businesses are both looking 5 years from now.
Yeah, yeah. It's it's going to be a fun time. I think we've already gone through the last year and a half. We've already gone through a bit of a rough patch. Both you and I are younger in the industry, so to go through that, survive it, make some money out of it, and now for what I see, the market is heating back up. Buyers are they're buying deals, they're buying them for good healthy profits, and I think 2024 should be a pretty good year. When
Oh
I
yeah.
got started late 2019. I didn't close. I put my first deal under contract January 2nd, 2020. Closed it February 2nd, 2020. Did 7 deals in 2020. I had no idea the industry, the real estate space was so good then.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
wild. So that's when like hedge fund buyers were like picking everything up for like 110%.
for that year in 2021 was like the best time to be in it. And
Yeah.
I was just new. I was learning how to walk, so I didn't know, you know, if I go real
Yeah.
hard on this, I can make a lot of money this year, because there's not one deal that can't be sold.
Yeah.
And
Dang. Okay. So when the market shifted, that's when you kind of did it set this expectation in your mind to be like, okay, this is how it's gonna be. And then when it wasn't like that, like how
um,
was that
probably a bit, but again, it's only in hindsight that I realized how good it was. Like when I was going through it,
Mm,
I was still like, struggling to get a deal under contract. And then when I did, yeah, I would sell it. But I had no idea, like, it's not necessarily normal to have 5 or 6 offers for this property, but it
mm,
was still, I wasn't getting a whole lot of deals. So the acquisition part of it still wasn't easy because sellers were under the same mindset. The market is pretty good right now. I'm trying to get maximum profit. And then, yeah, once 2022 hit, we weren't selling deals as fast. We weren't getting as many buyers. We were still selling our deals, but it wasn't for the same profits. Especially this
right.
last year, I hit a ton of base hits, which is totally fine. I'll hit base hits all day long. I mean,
Yeah.
Ichiro Suzuki made the Hall of Fame doing that.
Right.
So yeah, but now in 2024, I've already seen projected here in January my average assignment size is double what it was last year. So
Oh,
hopefully,
nice. Awesome.
hopefully it's a lot more of that.
Yeah. Heck yeah. That's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
What about like investment properties? Have you been a buyer on anything?
Now I've done some flips in some hotels with my mentor about a year and a half ago. I didn't love flipping. The flip I did was in Pleasant Grove. It's fun seeing a deal go from start to finish, and really making a property look beautiful for a new family. But the way that we did it is we bought all the supplies, we delivered all the supplies, because my mentor didn't want to leave that in the contractor's hands, run the bill up, get the wrong product, whatever it was. But doing all
Mm,
that, um, and I was mostly the eyes on the project, so I'd go over more than he would, to just check on things. I didn't love it. I didn't want to be at a
mm,
project every day. I definitely didn't want to be buying supplies, delivering supplies, staying on top of that stuff. Um, it's fun again to see it from A to Z, but running a bunch of those, if I'm hands on, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. If I'm managing from the office or whatever, I could like that, but I don't want to do flipping as a business for myself. And investments I'll get into, but for me, where I'm at, I want to stay focused on my lane.
right.
I see, my business is an asset, it's an investment, and will eventually
Yeah.
be cash flow if I exit the business the proper way. So
I like
uh,
it. Yeah.
that's what I'm focused on right now. Once we, have a bunch of capital, I definitely won't let it, just sit in the bank because the dollar is always going down. But um, right now, it's how can I be the best dispo house in the country, and that's the one and only vision right now.
Right. So would you say that this year you're really gonna buckle down on, like, I guess, systems and processes
Yeah, that was the
to
focus
to
for me last year. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a focus for me last year, because previous to that, I was just willing and dealing, right? Just get me on the phone, I'll close the deal, I'll sell the deal. It was all just, I can do it pretty well. Let me go and do it. Um, but this last year, yeah, we added to our team. We worked on some systems and processes. Definitely didn't refine them. That's the focus this year.
Mm,
But yeah, systems and processes is definitely at the forefront. Again, I'm going to be bringing in VAs here in a couple weeks. They're going to
awesome.
take a lot of the stuff off of my plate. I've got um, I've got a Dispo process, so it's already there. But now I just need to get the right people in the right seats and organize the right task to the right people. But yeah, I mean, I can't always, even though I love it, there's only one of me. I can't always, go out and sell the deals, especially if we're going to do this at a high volume. I can't sell 20 deals myself a month. I probably could, but I'd be worn out and not able to do, live the life the way that I envision it.
Yeah. That to me, I mean, that just sounds exciting, like building the background of it. It's funny because I know for me, I'm a visionary,
Yeah.
but the thought of, like, curating a team and building it to your liking and to how, you think it's like your vision basically. Like
Yeah.
building your actual vision behind the scenes of the business it's just, to me, it sounds exciting. Well, like, how is it to you? Do you feel like it's more of a task at hand, or do you feel like, yeah, or are you more excited to do it?
I'm excited in the visionary way where I get to cast the vision, make sure that our core values are followed and understood. In terms of like getting the CRM in line, making sure that we have the right workflow, what happens when this happens and all of that. Not necessarily the most exciting thing I can do with my day, but once I see it happen and we get paid because of that,
Mm,
that's exciting. That'll give me, I'll get happy because of that. But
right.
um, mainly, what I feel most compelled to is the core values, things that I really want my company to be about, and it's we
Mm,
want to be quick in our communication, in our transaction. We don't want to be lagging behind or having people remind us what needs to be done. We want to be transparent to our buyers, to our JV partners. We never want to not fill them in or be gray about the truth. Just give it to them, let them absorb
yeah.
it. Same thing with our buyers. We're fact driven. We're not going to tell you anything that's not true. The roof is 12 years old. It needs to be replaced or whatever it is. That's it. And we want to care about our deals. If people are giving us their deals that they worked hard to put under contract, there's no way anybody on my team, including myself, is not going to care about that deal. You worked for 2 months to get that
Gotcha.
seller under contract. That seller gave you their trust to live up to that agreement. We're gonna care. I don't ever want someone to send me a deal and for a week it sits there without any effort put in on our end. Because, like I said in the
Yeah.
beginning, that could be someone's first deal. They need that proof of
Hmm.
concept. They need to cash that check to feed their family. And so caring is something that will always be instilled in what we do in our operation.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so basically, I mean, would you call that building the culture around it? I mean, is that the same thing? Core values, culture,
Yeah,
kind
that's
of.
pretty.
They were kind of hand in hand, right? I mean,
I think they do work hand in hand. Something that I've told my accountability partner Charles is we're both kind of scaling our operation at the same time,
mm,
and we both need to figure out how to be better leaders. We've mostly been solopreneurs, right?
right.
We're good at waking up and leading ourselves, but that doesn't mean that we can get somebody else fired up or instill the same values
Mm,
that they
I've
need.
heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's our a focus of both me and him is we got to read some leadership books, talk to some people that have bigger operations, and yeah, because I can't tell you how it is to lead a team of 5 or 6 or 10 people, uh, and I'm sure there's a ton of mistakes and bad hires and bad fires you make that we need to try to shortcut so we don't
Right.
we don't make them.
I'm sure you'll do good, man. I mean, it's probably not a direct correlation, but you leading a meetup, it has to have some good practice in it. you know.
Yeah, I would hope so. But something that I've struggled with in the past with VAs or whoever is naturally I'm very curious about sales. I love sales. I want to go out and close a deal. Sometimes with VAs or whoever, they're not as curious, or they're quicker to get off the phone, or they're not just like a student of the game. That's how
Mm,
I learned sales, like through YouTube University, asking questions to other people that are really good at it, and following people that I wanted to emulate. And
right.
so when I get someone on my team who needs more training than just going out and figuring it out, that's been a struggle of mine, and it's totally on my shoulders. If someone
Mm,
joins my team or if I'm paying them, I should be ready to train them,
right.
and
Right. Right.
hold their hand. But it's harder for me, just like they say, like, sometimes players have a hard time coming back and coaching because they just
Yeah.
kind of took the ball and ran with it, right? They didn't necessarily
Yeah.
like need to read the playbook and study the film or whatever, which is what we do. But to teach it and coach it is not the same thing. So that has been a struggle
Yeah.
of mine in the past. And if I want to bring on and keep, retain really good talent, that's going to be a focus of mine this year on how to do that.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. I'm
Yeah,
excited
it is.
for you, man.
Yeah, good problems. Good
Yeah.
problems to have for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Yep, man. So I mean, we're running out of time here. I mean, I just want to, kind of end it with, you provided all the value today, man. I mean, we can go on and on about systems, and I have so many other questions, but we'll go ahead and end it here. You provided all this value. How can anybody listening? How can they provide value to? Where can they follow you at?
I mean, my Instagram and my Facebook are the same. It's Crump Moves Homes, CRUMP Moves Homes. How they can bring me value is come to our events. Come and shake hands with us. Get to know the people in our community. You'll see Anthony there a lot of the times. You'll learn and hopefully you'll contribute too. Come to our events. And of course, if you ever need a deal that needs a buyer, hit me up. We do this nationwide. All the Texas markets are really hot markets for us, but we sell deals in Florida, Arkansas, Pennsylvania, Illinois, anywhere in the nation. So if you ever need a deal, then send it our way, and we'd love to see if we can help you.
Yeah, send this man deals. He's the Dispo king, and I guess I can confirm that you mentioned your values that you want to spread into your company. I don't know if I mentioned this early in the podcast, but one of the things that I noticed from you is that you're real good at the communication part and the updating, and and so the thing that the one of your values that you're going to pass on to your team as it grows was that you want to be transparent with both the wholesaler that you're working with and the end buyer that you're working with,
Yep.
and keeping them updated. And that's something you were really good at with the deal that we had going on. So I appreciate you for that. And just so anybody watching that, Chris is the real deal. He'll help you out. If you need a dispo deal, go follow him on Instagram, all that stuff. Go show him some love. If you're in the DFW, go to the meetup first Saturday of the month. Yeah, man, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you, and like I said many times, I got a lot of respect and love for you. Really happy to see what you're doing with REI Junkies. And I bet I'll say this. I bet my podcast will get more views than Jabs Carter his podcast. He's,
Oh,
he's a
that's a
little,
clip right there. We're gonna have to see about that. Let's do it.
yeah, he's a little bro for me.
Yes,
All right, bro.
sir.
I appreciate you. I'll talk to you here soon.
Alrighty, man. Appreciate you.
All right, you got it.
All right, bye.